So on today's action-packed episode, I've got a pair of Celestion counties. A two-way. Bought these really cheap for a few reasons, and I'll tell you about those as we go along. The last video I put out, or second to last, about building a pair of speakers for my Snug, where I was going to use a pair of Ditton 15 XRs, one of which I'll turn into a subwoofer, and I probably still will do that. The other one you saw me chop up to make two little satellite speakers, which I don't think I'm going to do. It's something that I'll store away, and I'll probably revisit that at some point, but I've had a bit of a change of heart in there, and that's because I've been listening to my HA35s, HA36s in there even, and that size speaker works really well, and I don't need a subwoofer, not for what we do in there anyway. So I found these mega cheap. It's not a pair of speakers I've had before. Going to be very similar to the Hadley, I would have thought, but really what I want these for is the woofers inside them, because I've got a plan for those, and I've also got a couple more of them as well. So I'll bring you in closer and we'll have a quick look at these. Right, so a nice compact two-way. These are going to be in a teak finish again, veneered. Let's take the cover off if they'll come off. So there's our cover on a fiberboard frame. Random Velcro just stuck on there, nice. So there we go, we have an 8-inch paper woofer, and I quite like these. These are used in the Hadley as well, and I've had many a pair of Hadley now. I've done my tweeter upgrade on quite a few pairs, and there's something really nice about the mid-range in them, and I think it's because this woofer has a little lump in it which is difficult to control, but actually when you're listening to it you don't really get drawn to it, but because it's quite a deep throat and very flared, the mid-range it's just nice on this. I like it. And another speaker has inspired me to build a kind of floor standing two-way using these, and that will be something I do later in the year, and probably as soon as you see it you'll recognise what make of speaker inspired me to do that. Also the HF 1300 tweeter that's in this, I'm hoping this is the 16 ohm version. I'd be surprised if it is, but I've got a use for this in another project which should be quite interesting as well. So yeah, let's have a quick look inside and see what these are all about. But these are going to get quickly refurbished. I'm going to put some different woofers in these and different tweeters and turn these into something that will live in our Snug, and yeah, recloth them, sand the cabinets back, the normal thing really, new binding posts. We'll have to design a new crossover for them, but yeah, that's the plan. Right, I haven't taken any measurements for these speakers. I'm not going to either. I know that's not what I usually do, but yeah, I'd imagine they measure pretty much similar to the Hadleys, probably play a bit lower because they're in a bigger cabinet. The HF 1300 will roll off at 13 kilohertz. I expect we'd see a little lump in the upper mid-range, which is an artifact of this woofer. I'm building up quite a quantity of these triangular clamps, which are quite difficult to get hold of. So if any of you need any, give me a shout. Right, so there's our woofer. And like I say, these are old, really old, probably 60s. But there's something I like about this. And these clean up well. You clean up the the rubber. I often put a very light dust coat of black paint on here, which doesn't add any noticeable weight to the cone, but just tidies it up. The rubber is still good and supple. So yeah, a low powered driver, probably 20 watts, something like that. But for what I'm going to use it for, yeah, pretty good really. Right, so our little crossover is on the back there. We'll take that out and have a look. Bit more complex than we've seen before on some of these. That's good. Looks like second order high pass, second order low pass. Nice big air core inductor on there. Right, let's get this tweeter out. So this is quite a thin-walled cabinet. I'd be surprised if it's much more than 1/2 inch, so 12mm. And it does sound pretty hollow. I think yeah, that's probably going to be the 4-ohm version. Much smaller magnet on these, so let's kind of change things a little bit. That might be going back in this. We will see. So double-sided Velcro just lashed on there. Lovely. Yeah, 1/2 inch chipwood bezel or baffle. So my plan is 2 options really. Option 1 is to drop in some woofers from a Ditton 15XR, and the other option is I've had these for ages. These are a pair of Versatan, God, the holes line up perfectly, 8-inch mid woofers, and I'm trying to find a use for them, and I think I just have. I'll have to open up that a little bit, but not much. The holes basically line up, so that might be the woofer to use. Okay, it really depends on, I think this is going to be the 4-ohm version. If it is, then what I might do is put this back in here and add a peerless tweeter, because I got tons of them, and turn it into a 2.5 way. Right, let's check that. Right, let's take the binding post out as well actually. Take this cup off. The back's coming loose on the other one, so I'm going to have to re-glue all of that. That's not a problem. So the original on this was 4 to 8 ohms impedance, nominal impedance, 25 watts. So nothing major in terms of power handling. Right, so there's our crossover. Can you see that okay? Yep. Yeah, so second order on our woofer circuit, second order on the tweeter. Tweeter is connected out of phase, all built on an aluminium post on the back. So yeah, there we go. Not bad inductors, pretty naff capacitors. Yeah, better than some of the stuff you see on these. Yeah, 4 ohm version. Okay, hence the small magnet on them. Normally they have something like this. Yeah, normally they have something like that on them. Yeah, you'll see that in a few of Celestion speakers. Okay, let's have a quick look at our woofer as well. Oh no. That's not very good. Our woofer's dead. Ugh. Crap. Oh well. I'm not going to be using that, am I? Um, 370 ohms. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to fish the other one out. We'll check that. Right, so here's the other. Actually, oh yeah, there's quite a difference between those. You can hear that rubbing. That's a crapper. Let's put the kibosh on what I was using these for. Uh, 4.9, and these are 5 ohm drivers, so oh well, never mind. That dead one will go in the bin, the other one will just go in the spares pile. Right, so I really do hope this tweeter is okay, otherwise We haven't got very far at all here, have we? The 4 ohm version of this is definitely the lower quality, lower performing out of all of them. So there's also an 8 ohm version of this and the 16 ohm. The 16 ohm version is what you'll find in the Spendor BC1, the Rogers LS36, studio monitor, that sort of thing. The 16 ohm version without a doubt is the better one. But yeah, this will do for what I want. Yep, that's okay. Right, so it looks like we've got 2 good tweeters. They look in good condition, really. I'll stick the microphone in front of them and measure them. But yeah, I think we're okay on that front. We might as well have a look at the crossover while we're here. Just for fun. So I'm going to take this apart and then I'll come back to you. Right, so we'll use our little peak tester for this. I had to put some new leads on it the other day. If you ever do anything like that, do the self-calibration again on this. So both the tweeter capacitor and the woofer capacitor are both 6 microfarad. So let's see how they're holding up. Um, 5.4, 5.5, so that's all right. And the one on our woofer, 5.8. It's not bad. I've cut all these as well, so we're not testing through any of the other components. Right, our woofer inductor. I imagine this will probably be fairly small for a woofer. 1.18 millihenry, 0.73 ohms for its DC resistance, and then for our tweeter, uh, 0.45 millihenry, 0.62 ohms for its DC resistance. So yeah, I keep these inductors, not that I'm going to use them again, but I just keep them to have a big spread of values for when I'm building my own crossovers. I label these up as to what they are, and then I can clip them in and out. And then when I put that crossover together, I obviously 9 times out of 10 now wind my own inductors and obviously fit new capacitors, but they're just handy to keep for that purpose. So yeah, there we go. So I'll retain these binding post cups, fit new binding posts in them, and yeah, I think these woofers are probably going to be what I use. So these are an 8 ohm driver. I think their power handling's like 50 watts, so they'll be pretty good. I'm not looking for a speaker that's particularly bassy because of where they're going. These sit each side of a fireplace and you get a bit of bass reinforcement around 100 Hertz because of the distance of each kind of recess. So I won't port these. These will be a sealed enclosure. But yeah, I think it's about time I use these, and these will work out well. And they basically fit the hole, so all good. Anyway, next video we'll do the cabinets and yeah, put something together. All right, sorry this has been a bit scrappy. It's an end of the day video. I'm knackered, can't talk properly. So yeah, anyway, catch you soon.